Help me reach 1,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. She laughed during the divorce hearing. And that sound is something I still hear when rooms go quiet. Not loud, not cruel, just careless, like none of it mattered. My name is James, and I was sitting at the defense table, hands folded, jaw tight, listening to a marriage end like a poorly rehearsed joke. Elizabeth sat across from me, perfectly composed, hair done, lipstick flawless, smiling at the judge like this was all beneath her. 13 years together, reduced to paperwork and polite nods. I didn't look at her. I didn't need to. I already knew that smile. I'd seen it at dinners with friends, at parties, whenever she thought she was winning. The judge spoke calmly, outlining assets, timelines, responsibilities. Elizabeth chuckled under her breath when my lawyer mentioned spousal support. That was when a few people in the gallery turned. I felt it then, not anger, not embarrassment, but clarity. If you've ever watched someone mock consequences, you know that feeling. It's the moment you stop hoping for fairness and start trusting preparation. Elizabeth believed this hearing was a formality. She believed I was weak, predictable, still operating from guilt. That belief came from years of me keeping the peace. I was a husband who apologized first, who smoothed things over, who paid the bills quietly and asked for nothing in return. When Elizabeth asked for the divorce, she did it casually, like changing plans. She told friends I'd be reasonable. She told her lawyer the same. And I was, right up until the moment she laughed. That sound erased whatever loyalty I had left. I glanced at my attorney, Daniel, who didn't react. He simply made a note, slow, deliberate, like a man checking the time. If this story already feels familiar, take a moment to like this video so it reaches others who understand what quiet disrespect really looks like. The hearing recessed for a short break. Elizabeth leaned back, crossed her legs, whispered something to her lawyer, still smiling. I stood, walked the hallway, stared at the courthouse seal on the wall. I remembered our first apartment, the nights we ate on the floor, the plans she swore we'd build together. Somewhere along the way, partnership turned into performance. She wanted applause, not accountability. Daniel joined me, voice low. He asked if I was sure. I nodded. I had given him everything, bank statements, emails, timelines I'd tracked quietly for years. Elizabeth thought I was passive. What I really was patient. At this point, I'm curious, what do you think her laugh actually meant? Share your thoughts in the comments, because moments like that change everything. When we returned to the courtroom, Elizabeth's confidence hadn't faded. She smirked as Daniel stood. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't dramatize. He simply asked permission to submit additional documentation. Elizabeth's lawyer stiffened. The judge agreed. Daniel slid a folder forward, thick, organized, labeled. I watched Elizabeth's smile hesitate, just for a second. Enough to notice. Enough to matter. Before this continues, type prepared in the comments if you believe patience is stronger than panic. The judge adjusted his glasses, began reading. Dates, transfers, inconsistencies. Elizabeth's posture shifted. She stopped leaning back. Her lawyer whispered urgently. I didn't react. I had waited too long for this moment to rush it. Every laugh she'd given, every assumption she'd made, had led us here. The judge called for silence. Elizabeth finally looked at me, not smiling now, searching, confused. That was when I knew the balance had shifted, not because I spoke, but because the truth was speaking for me. If this moment made you feel something, consider sharing this story with someone who believes silence means weakness. The judge set the documents aside, eyes on Elizabeth, and announced we would proceed differently. Her smile didn't return. It couldn't. Whatever she thought today would be, it was no longer hers to control. We adjourned again. Daniel leaned close and said quietly, "This is where it turns." I sat back down, hands steady now, watching Elizabeth stare ahead, realizing too late that laughter had consequences. Part one ended there, with the room holding its breath, and the truth waiting. The room felt smaller when we reconvened, like the walls had leaned in to listen. Elizabeth sat straighter now, hands folded too tightly. her lawyer murmuring in her ear. The judge cleared his throat and addressed the court with a tone that no longer carried routine. He referenced the documents Daniel had submitted, noting patterns that required clarification. Elizabeth's lawyer requested time to respond. The judge denied it. This was not about surprise, he said. It was about disclosure. Elizabeth finally turned toward me, her eyes sharp, searching for reassurance that wasn't there. For the first time in years, I didn't offer her anything. No nod, no calm smile, just distance. I realized in how much energy I had spent cushioning her from consequences. When you stop doing that, people notice. The judge asked Elizabeth directly about several financial transfers. Her answer was confident at first, rehearsed, almost casual. Then came follow-up questions. Dates she hadn't prepared for. Amount she dismissed as irrelevant. Her voice tightened. Her lawyer interrupted, objected, reframed. The judge listened, then asked again, slower this time. Elizabeth hesitated. That hesitation landed harder than any accusation. Daniel remained silent. He didn't need to add anything. Everything was already in front of the court. I thought about how often Elizabeth had accused me of being uninvolved, of not paying attention. She was wrong about that. I had simply learned when to speak and when to wait. The judge leaned back, pen tapping once against the desk, and announced that temporary rulings would be revised pending further review. Asset access would be limited. Certain requests denied outright. Elizabeth's face drained a color. The smile she'd walked in with was gone, replaced by disbelief. She whispered something sharp to her lawyer. He didn't respond immediately. If you've ever watched confidence collapse into silence, comment clarity below and tell us why moments like this matter. The hearing concluded quickly after that. No drama, no raised voices, just finality. As we stood, Elizabeth looked at me again, this time openly angry, as if I had broken an unspoken rule. I met her gaze calmly. I hadn't changed. The circumstances had. Outside the courtroom, she caught up to me, heels clicking too fast for someone trying to appear composed. She said my name like an accusation. I stopped. She demanded to know when I'd become so calculating. I told her the truth. I hadn't changed. I had adapted. There's a difference. She scoffed, called me petty, said this wasn't over. I nodded. Some things take time. Daniel shook my hand before leaving, reminded me this was only one step, but an important one. As I walked down the courthouse steps alone, I felt lighter than I had in years. Not victorious, just unburdened. The laugh that had echoed earlier felt distant now, powerless. If this story resonated with you, share it professionally with someone navigating a high-conflict separation. Stories like this help people feel less alone. That night, I sat in my apartment, quiet except for the hum of the city outside. I thought about what I'd lost, but more about what I'd kept. My composure, my dignity, my future. Elizabeth had believed control came from confidence. She learned too late it comes from preparation. Before you go, join the discussion. Do you believe silence in moments like this is strength or avoidance? Comment your perspective below. The divorce wasn't finished, but something else was. The version of me that accepted disrespect as the cost of peace no longer existed. And that realization mattered more than any ruling. If you found value in this story, like the video, subscribe for more real-world lessons on boundaries and accountability, and comment with one word that best describes how this ending made you feel.